This is Module 4, Lesson 11 homework. All right, it says Jenny's mom says she has an hour before bedtime. Jenny spends 1/3 of that hour. So first thing, we have 1 hour, and an hour consists of 60 minutes. She spends 1/3 of that time texting, and she also spends 1/4 of her time brushing her teeth and putting on pajamas. We'll just label that B. And then we'll see how much she has left. Then, with the rest of the time, she's going to be reading a book. So this will be her book time. Okay? So the first thing we could see is we know that if we add these two and subtract it from our total, it'll tell us how much we have left. So we could add our fractions, 1/3 plus 1/4. Common denominator is 12. And we'll get 4 and 3. So she's already used up 7/12 of her time. So that means that actually 5/12, because 7 plus 5 would give us a total of 5. So we need to know how much 5/12 of 60 is, and that'll tell us how many minutes she spent reading her book. We can simplify. 12 goes into 12 once, 12 goes into 65 times. 5 times 5 equals 25. She spent 25 minutes reading. You also could have done 1/3 of 60 plus 1/4 of 60 and figured out how much those equal, and then figured out how many minutes she had left. So 1/3 of 60, 3 goes into 60, 20. 4 goes into 60, 4 goes into 1, 4 goes into 60 15 times, because 4 times 15 will give you 60. So then we would have ended up with 20 plus 15, which would have been 35 minutes. So that's how much they used. If you would have subtracted 35 from 60, you would have ended up with 25 minutes. So either way would have worked. An auto body shop is putting designs on a car. They have 18 pints of blue paint on hand. They used half of it for flames and 1/3 of it on sparks. Then what they're going to do is they're going to need 7 3/4 of blue paint to paint the next design. So we'll have to figure out how much paint they'll have left. So let's see how much they've used. We have 1/2 plus we've had 1/3. Let's get a common denominator. And we end up with, so we end up with 5, 6. That's how much they've used of 18. Let's see how many pints that equals. 6 goes into 6 once, 6 goes into 18 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. So they've used 15 out of the 18th, so that means they only have 3 pints left. How much more will they need to get to 7 3/4? Well, to get to 7 3/4, they would need 4 to get to 7 plus 3/4 more to get to 7 3/4. So they need 4 3/4 more. All right, Giovanni, Francis, and their dad each carried a 10-pound bag. So they each have 10 pounds. Gianna, Francis, and Dad, they each have 10-pound bags. Okay. After putting soil in the first bed, Gianna's bag was 5/8 full. If it was 5/8 full, that means Gianna used 3/8 to put into the flower bed. Francis was 2/5 full, which means she must have used 3/5 in the plant garden, and then her dad's was 3/4 full, so he must use 1/4. What I did is I figured out how much would be gone. All right, and so each one of them would be out of 10. Okay, so let's simplify. 2 can go into both these numbers. 2 can go into 8 4 times. 2 can go into 10 5 times. 5 can go into 5 once. 5 can go into 10 twice. 2 can go into 4 twice, 2 can go into 10 5 times. So now we have, this would be 15 fourths. This one would be 3 times 2 over 1 would be 6. And this would be was 5 over 2. 15 fourths, 4 can go into 15 3 times, giving us a 12 and having 3 fourths left. And this one will be 2 can go into 5 twice and having 1 out of 5. Now we have to add them all up to know the total amount. So let's add up all our whole numbers. 3 plus 6 plus 2 would be 11, 9, 10. And then we need to add our fractions. We have to just add these two fractions. Let's go ahead and get a common denominator. And it would be 4. And this would be 3. And this would be 2. So it would be a total of 5 fourths. And we turn that into a mixed number, which would be 1 and 1/4. Let's add that back to our whole, so it would be a total of 12 and 1/4 pounds.